What's going on, everyone? So, the Golden State Warriors officially signed Jonathan Kuminga to a 2-year, $48 million contract with a team option. So he did cave and accept the team option, which I think he would. And look, this was the best thing that could have happened to the Warriors. Obviously they probably would have wanted to pay him less, but this was the best thing that could happen to the Warriors because now you have control over him for this season and next season, and then also becomes a better trade chip. For Jonathan Kuminga, this makes a ton of sense too. Obviously, you'd prefer the player option than the team option, but you get more money rather than, you could take the qualifying offer, and then if you get hurt or something like that, now you're out that money. Get the guaranteed bag, get the money that you got now, and then you can go into next offseason, maybe get traded or traded at the trade deadline, and go to that destination and that team that you prefer to go to, right? So, but a lot of good that can still happen, from this situation for the Golden State Warriors and Jonathan Kuminga. Question is how bought in is Kuminga going to be? And does this change things for Steve Kerr, right? Does Steve Kerr look at it and go, okay, he's making $24 million now? Or does Steve Kerr even get pressure from the Warriors now where it's like, hey, you're making $24 million now, right? You should probably play that guy. Because one of the big problems with Jonathan Kuminga is the lack of consistency, right? One game he's playing, 35 minutes and you're asking him to be the best player on the basketball court and he's going and giving you 25 and doing all this stuff. And the next game he's getting a DMP or playing 10 minutes. And Jonathan Kuminga said it himself, right? I just want consistency. One game I'm being asked to be the guy tonight, and then the next game I'm playing 3 minutes, and the next game I'm playing 22 minutes, and the next game I'm playing 15 minutes. Next game I'm getting DMP, and then it's just this never-ending carousel of I don't know where I'm at, right? So how does that change? How bought in is Jonathan Kuminga, right? Because he's got to be, you would think, because he's not out of the woods yet, right? You don't play well, which is why the Warriors probably wanted the team option also to basically guarantee that he's going to play well. Because, if you had the player option, it's I got at least $48 million coming, right? I don't need to show up for you. But now it's I got this $24 million, and then they could just opt out and no other team's going to pay me that if I'm bad. So now it incentivizes him to play well, play good, and be involved. But now that you got that resolved, you got to obviously figure out the Jonathan Kuminga situation as far as playing time and role and whatnot, how you're going to approach that. But the other side of things is you now have everybody signing that's been waiting around. Al Horford was the first one. After Al Horford, you got Anthony Melton, Gary Payton II, Seth Curry, right? So all the players, you had 4 or 5 players that were kind of waiting around to see what happened with Jonathan Kuminga. You started to see all those guys start to sign. So it was okay, obviously they've worked out the Kuminga thing because they wouldn't have done that until they got the Kuminga situation worked out. So you knew the Kuminga news was right around the corner, right? Now, the Warriors went from a team that didn't make any moves in the offseason to being one of the teams that made some of the most moves, right? They have 5-6 players, turn around and staying and all that stuff. And, a lot of guards now, a lot of guard heavy, right? You think they already had a handful of guards on this team, and then you add in Anthony Melton, Gary Payton II, Seth Curry, so on and so forth, right? It's a lot of guards. But this team, is pretty stacked. You're talking, Al Horford, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, probably Pod and Steph Curry, right? Do you go with Kuminga now because you're playing him? Right? So do you go with Jonathan Kuminga maybe at the 2 or maybe go Butler at the 2 and Kuminga at the 3? How do you approach that? Because you're paying Jonathan Kuminga $24 million. So you paying him $24 million to come off the bench for you? Right? Or do you, I don't hate, honestly, if I'm being honest, I don't hate the idea of Steph, Kuminga, Draymond, Horford, and Butler. Right? Especially because Horford, yes, he's a center, but he's like 6'10", and then Draymond. So having that size, that length, that defense, the athleticism. I mean, between Kuminga, Butler, Horford, and Draymond, you got a lot of defense. Like with Kuminga, it's just getting him bought in, focused, and motivated on the defense side of things. But like you have that size, that length to kind of mask Steph and make things easier on Steph. And it's just, I don't hate it because it's like, again, are you going to pay Kuminga $24 million a year to come off the bench? No, yeah, you could argue it's probably another year or two, but like, I mean, they're going to end up trading Kuminga, but it's also part of like why you'd probably want to play him, right? Like, you play him enough to where teams are like, oh man, like I could have him next season for $24 million. That could be a bargain. That's a great price, right? Like for those that remember that commercial. But in general, the Warriors are going to be good, right? To sit here and pretend like they're not going to be good, I think would be foolish. It's just how good, right? Like, because teams are going to have tape and film and all that stuff on Butler and Steph. Also, there's questions about Jimmy Butler in the regular season and stuff. I mean, the Warriors are deep. They're talented. You still have Steph Curry, all that stuff. Obviously, injuries are going to play a big role. Steph hasn't been, a model of health. Jimmy Butler has missed a lot of time recently, right? Like, but those two could kind of help each other. Steph Curry isn't going to have to do as much now and work as hard and all that. You got a lot of depth, you got a lot of shooting, you got a lot of things that is going to make this team really good. How good are they going to be defensively? They should, at least on paper, bode well defensively. I'm curious to see, like, I don't think they're going to be like top 2 or 3 good. I do think they'll be a playoff team, right? I think they're probably in that like 4 or 5 range, I would say, right? Like I still think teams like still probably take Denver, OKC, obviously Houston, probably take Houston. Yeah, the Warriors beat, but like Kevin Durant, I think helps a lot with that team, and at least during the regular season, maybe playoffs would be a little different, but regular season. The Lakers, I like the Lakers better than them with motivated Luka and Austin Reeves and LeBron James and DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart and Rui Hachimura and all that. Like, so I look at the Warriors and I probably the 4 or 5 range, somewhere in that ballpark. During the regular season, to me, it's going to be like, how many games does everybody play? Right. And I mean, look, Warriors are one of those teams you just can never count out. Right, every year they're a contender. You can't count the Warriors out. You'd be foolish too. So we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Else not, if you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.